Okay, next we're going to come in and build this first deck right along here. You'll note that it's basically just a platform. These boards right here are probably 2x4s. T for tape measure tool. Let's see. Do that one more time and move that right up there so it's a little easier to see. So now I'll just go ahead and measure there, and yeah, it's about 3.5 inches. So those are 2x4s, and again, we're just going to make them 2 inches by 4 inches. So I'll go Shift C for zoom extents, and I'll come into my 3D view. I'm going to go ahead and erase this guideline that we made for making the seats. We don't need that anymore. I'm just going to go ahead and take this right here. Excuse me, I'm going to select it, right click, make it a component, and I'm going to call that piece a 2x6. And it puts it over here so I can bring another one back at any time if I want, but the reason I did that was just so I can delete it for now. Because next I'm going to make 2x4s. I'm going to make them the same way. So to make my first 2x4, I'm just going to make it the same way I made my 2x6. I'm going to start with a rectangle. I'm just going to go ahead and place it out here on the ground, and then I'm going to use my arrow keys to line it in the direction I want, and then I'm going to just go ahead and type in 2,4 since we're working in inches, and then P for the push-pull tool. And now I'm going to go ahead and triple click on this and just make it a group so that whenever I click on it, it selects the whole thing. However, if I want to change the length of it, I'm going to need to open up the group by right-clicking and editing the group, or double-clicking on it. Both do the same thing. And then I can make it longer or wider, and eventually I'll probably make this into a component as well, but for now I'm just going to leave it as a group. So I'm going to come into my top view here and just kind of shift over here a little bit, click on this, and Control C for copy, paste. I'm going to put another one right there, and then I'm going to type Q for rotate, click on any corner, come out, pull down 90 degrees. So now everything is oriented with the posts on my playhouse. So let's come back into this view and go ahead and take a look at our picture. Let's find out using our tape measure tool how far it is from the bottom of that 2x4 down to the ground. And it looks like it's about 4 feet. And 4 feet's certainly close enough. So I'll do a zoom extents, and then I'll come into this view here. What I want to do is make a line that goes up 4 feet. And so where's a good point to do that? Well, let's do it on this. Well, I'll do it on this outer face here. What's really going to help me out is if I can go to X-ray mode, and you'll see why here. So there's X-ray mode right there. So I can just go ahead and pick that point right there and drag up along the blue axis, type in 48. Oh, I accidentally right click there. There we go, type in 48, hit enter, and I've now got a guideline goes across my post. And I'm really only going to need one of those, although you could certainly go all the way around. Now, how did I do that X-ray mode? Well, I just pressed my X key because I use it so many times. But you can come up under camera. I think it's under camera. Nope. It's under view, edge style. Nope. Face style. There we go. X-ray. So it's been a while since I've looked for it. And so you can click on that and it'll turn on X-ray for you. But that's a little bit of a pain. So what I do is I come up into my preferences and I go into shortcuts and I look for, there's a billion different shortcuts that you can pick here. Okay. So I want to filter those out. So I'm going to just type in X dash, and there it is right there. So what I did was I highlighted it and then I typed an X in right down here. That's why it shows up here. You won't have anything there, but just put an X right there. And after you've done that, you can close these preferences and you can turn X-ray mode on and off by just pressing your X key. Super, super handy. Now, if you're using the web version, go back and take a look at my screencast, and you'll see a link that'll show you how to do that. But basically, you use the search tool, which is pretty cool. But you don't have these menus across the top in the web-based version. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with the deck. I'll use my select tool here. I'm going to grab this 2x4 and I'm going to copy it. I'm going to paste it. And when I do that, it goes ahead and attaches it. We'll zoom in here. See how it attaches it to the origin, or the point where I started to create the 2x4. And so let's see. Let's go ahead and we don't want to place it inside. So what I'm going to do here is type in M for move and grab that point instead, even though SketchUp was trying to do me a favor here. And I'm going to put it right there. And then I'm going to orbit around this side because it's just a little bit too long. I'm going to double click on it to open up the group. P for push pull. And I'm going to pull it in, and I could guess how much, but what I really want to do is just line up the face of the 4x4 and the end of the 2x4. And then I can just click, and that is done. Now, to make that work even easier, what I'm going to do is go ahead and move it across along, I think, the red axis. So I'm going to click this right here, type in M for move. I'm going to pick this base point right here. Oh, nope, I don't want to pick that one. I want to pick this one. And I'm going to start to move it along the green axis. But before I left click to place it, I'm going to tap the Option key or the Alt key. And then I'm just going to move it across to here, parallel to the red axis, or excuse me, the green axis, and on this edge. And I now have a copy that is all lined up just like it should be. Okay, this next part, I'm not exactly sure how the Gorilla folks put it together, but we need to make a floor and we need to have some supports for it. So what I'm going to do is select this 2x4 and I am going to move it. So let's see, we'll come in here and I'll type M for move, and I'm just going to go ahead and click anywhere, and I'm going to pull it across, tap my Option or Control key. I want to make sure I'm along the green axis so everything is looking good. And that's a distance of 6 inches, because if you include the 2 inches for the 2x4 and the 4 inches for the 4x4. So I'll just type in 6 and hit enter. And then I need to move this down 1.5 inches. So I'll just click anywhere while on the move command, pull it down along the blue axis 1.5, hit enter. And then I'm going to make a copy move. So I'm going to grab this place point right here, move along the green axis, tap the Option or Alt key, come across here, and this is a good time to open up X-ray so that I can attach it parallel to the green axis to that back edge. There it is right there. So it's on the edge of my 4x4. So I'll click on that. Let's see if I did that right. Turn off X-ray. And it looks pretty good. Let's go to some of our orthographic views here so that you can see what we've got. And it's across here that I'm going to take and build the deck. So let's go ahead and do that next. I'm going to do something a little bit different here. I'm going to right click here and I'm just going to hide the image and turn off my hidden geometry so that I've just got my building materials now. If I want to get it back, I can come up under View, select Hidden Geometry, and now it shows up as a grid. Right click and unhide it, brings it back. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab one of these 2x4s that are going in this direction, and I'm going to do a move and I'm just going to pull it up, just make a copy. Again, you can copy and paste. Q for rotate, and I'll come to the end here, rotate it 90 degrees so it's laying flat. Type M for move, grab that top part right there, Option or Alt to make a copy, and then I'm going to put it right there. Now, I moved it down 1.5 inches, didn't I? Because I was thinking that 2x4s are really 1.5 inches, and that's true, they are. But we've been doing everything in 2 and 4 and 6-inch units. So that's why they overlap in that area. So let's just quickly fix that. Click on this one, and hold down my Shift key and click on this one. M for move, click anywhere, move down along the blue axis, 0.5 or 1/2 inch. And there we go, that's fixed. So, let's see here now. This part is pretty amazing, but before I do it, I need to shorten this up, don't I? So I'll double click on that group there, P for push pull, and pull it in so that it's even with that edge. And then click outside, and it now fills that space. So what I'm going to do next is fill all of this in just a couple of keystrokes. And you're going to need to listen carefully because everybody wants to click down here in the measurement toolbox. You never ever click in here. You just go ahead and type and it starts putting numbers. So that's something that people need to adjust to with SketchUp. So let's go ahead and make those copies. So I select this. M for move, I grab this top point, and as I start to move it along the red axis, again tap the Option key and plunk it right there. Now here's where the magic happens. I did left click to place that right copy, but now I'm going to go ahead and fill it with boards. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to just guess that maybe 8 boards will fit there, so I'm going to type in 8. And then the backslash or divided by key and hit enter, and it evenly spaces 8 copies. Now 8 would work, but 9 might be better. So again, I haven't touched the mouse. My hand is off the mouse. I can't stress that enough. Go 9 divided by, that looks better. Let's try 10 divided by. That's better. Let's try 11 divided by. And it looks a little too tight, so I'm just going to stay with 10 divided by, and I'll go ahead and go with that. So now I need to fill these ends right here, and so I'm going to go ahead and grab this. M for move, I'll grab this top corner here. Actually, I'm going to turn on X-ray and just grab that top corner there. And then I'm going to turn X-ray back off. I'm going to start to move it out because I want to put it about right there. But if I don't tap the Option key, I won't get a copy. And I'll just go ahead and, does that look about right? Yeah, that looks right. So I'll place it there. Then space bar, open up that group, P for push pull, and pull it back so that it's about there. Then let's rotate this around. And then I'll pull this so that it's even. Let's see, I need to grab it right on the edge here. There we go. Wrong surface. There we go. Just pull it out so that it's even to about there. There we go. And I like that. So I will click outside the group and then take this. Probably know where I'm going. M for move. Grab it right there on that end point, start to pull it across, make a copy, plunk it right there. Let's look at our top view, see what that looks like. It looks pretty good. I'm not real happy with the spacing right there, but I'm just going to go ahead and call that good because that fills everything in. I think if I was to redo it, I would take and scoot that over just a touch. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to redo it because it bothers me. So I'm going to take hold down my shift key, because this isn't going to take very long to do it all. And I am going to just delete those boards, and then I'm going to use the move tool and grab it and just move it along the red axis, or the green, nope, red axis, and I'm just going to type in 1/4 for 1/4 of an inch, and that gives me a little bit of a gap. And so now I'll rotate this around. Oh, I forgot to delete that board right there. Let is use our tape measure tool to make a guideline here, and I'll type in 1/4 inch. So I've now got a place to move it to. Click on this, M for move, turn on X-ray, grab that corner right there, move it along here, Option key until I get to that intersection, turn X-ray off. And then let's try 10 divided by, see how that looks. Let's try 11 divided by. A little too tight. So we'll just stick again with 10 divided by. That 1/4 inch didn't really seem to matter a whole bunch, but I like that spacing just a whole bunch better. So at this point I'm going to do a save, and we will work on, I think, the railing next. When we look at the railing here, what we've got is we have these boards that go across the top. That one's going across the back and there, and I'm just going to make all those 2x6s. We've got these rounded notches here, which we'll address separately, and then we've got some 2x6s that go across the back sides here, and then these vertical slats. So let's just do a quick measurement here, T for tape measure. So I'll go from the first deck platform, say up to about there is about 2.5 feet. We'll call it 2.5, or 30 inches. And so I'm going to use my tape measure tool to just put it on this line. I'm going to bring a guide up along the face of that post, and then I'll just go ahead and type in 30 inches, and it'll snap it in place for me. So at this point, I've got already created a 2x6, so I'm just going to grab it out of my components. Let's put it right there. And then we will do the same thing, M for move, and I'll grab this point here. I'll pull it along the red axis, type my Option key, and put it in at that intersection. And let's see, I got to put one across the face. So I'm just going to go ahead and move one out here. Do a copy paste essentially. Q for rotate. And if you're having trouble getting your protractor to snap, remember that you can take and use the arrow keys to move it around in the different orthographic positions. This time I just want it to be there, so I'll come out along one of my axes, snap to the second one, and now I can do a move. So I'll grab this one here and put it right there, and then M for move, click there, pull across to here. Let's orbit around here so that we can see our point. Got to tap my Option key. I make it sound routine, but lots of times I forget to do it, so I have to go back and start my move again. So now we've got the top of the railing constructed. So let's see, we'll come around to the back side here. And so I'm going to take this one and I'm going to move it down, and we don't really have a measurement for that. So I'm just going to click out here, pull it down along the blue axis and put it about there. And then let's go ahead and select this one, move it, Option or Alt key, and line it up with, there we go. Bring it down on the blue axis, goes ahead and attaches it to the face of the post. Now I need to change the lengths of these. So to do that, if I go ahead and edit this component, go ahead and use the push-pull tool to pull it in. See how they all change? And that could work. So it saves me a little bit of time. So, but to bring the rest of these out quickly, I'm going to make this one unique. So, and then I'll double click on it, P for push pull, pull it out so it's even with that face, spacebar, click outside. Let's go around here. We'll do the same thing. I'm going to make this one unique. And then double click on it, P for push pull, and pull it in so that it's, we'll just make it even there. I don't think that's going to make any difference, whether it's even with the top or the bottom. Let's see here. I'll pull this one around, and again, make it unique. Double click. And pull it in, and I think that'll work. Again, I'll select it, make it unique. P for push pull. Oops, gotta open up the component or the group. P for push pull, and pull it in like so. So we've got the back opening now, and so what we need to do is put in those vertical boards. So let's see here. I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of eyeball this because I think that will work. So I'm going to click on my rectangle tool and click here and come up along this face. Let's go ahead and just make it about that size. P for push pull. Let's pull it out 1 inch. And then let's click on that. Let's make it a group. We'll come around this side. We'll go M for move. Make our copy. We'll just eyeball it. And then without touching the mouse, let's see, let's just go 5 divided by, that looks pretty good. And then let's see, I'm going to grab one of these boards. I'm going to copy it, I'm going to paste it. I'll just pull it out here. Q for rotate. There we go. Rotate it 90 degrees. And then I'm going to move it from that back corner to so that it's on that edge, so it's about right there. Let's push this over, orbit it around a little bit so we can see what we're doing. M for move. But I'll just go ahead and grab it on the face, pull it across, do what I usually do. We need to zoom in because it's kind of snapping. We eyeball it. And let's try 4 divided by this time. Let's compare it with the other one. And that looks pretty good. Matter of fact, that looks really good. So I'm going to go ahead and save it. And next I'm going to put in those 2 notches in that 2x6. Okay, I was taking a look at this and thinking, you know, there's not much room left on this post. And then it occurred to me that we took that measurement from the deck up to here and made that guideline at 30 inches, and that was supposed to be at the top. So this 2x6 right here, along with all the other railings and pieces, need to be lowered down. Now, I don't want to redraw all that, and if you made the same mistake, then you don't want to either. So here's how we're going to fix it in just a couple of mouse clicks. We'll take a look at a primary view here, and I am going to select all of the boards and railings, but I don't want to select the posts, and you'll see why in a moment. If I draw a selection box from right to left, it grabs really anything that's touched inside that box, including the posts. So I'll click outside here to deselect, and instead I'm going to drag from left to right. And because the posts are not completely enclosed within this box, when I let go, it just grabs all those railing pieces that I made. while I've got them in place, I'm going to go ahead and make them a group. I don't have to do that for the next step, but I'm just going to go ahead and do that at this time so that other things don't stick to them later on. I can always ungroup them by exploding the group, but I don't want to do that. So now I'm going to type in S for scale, and these nifty grips show up, and they allow me to, just do all kinds of wild scaling any way that I want. Undo it. And the grip that I'm interested in is this one right here in the middle. And I'm just going to go ahead and pull that down. And I'm looking at this area right in here. I'm just going to move it down about 6 inches. And so that everything looks good, and mission accomplished. Okay, next we need to just cut out this little archway right in this area here. And we haven't put in this 2x4 yet, this vertical post, but we need to leave a straight edge right along here, about 4 inches, maybe just a little bit more, and try to center the arc. There's nothing super critical about the dimensions of it. So let's just go ahead and do some layout geometry. The piece we're going to be interested in is this one right here. So let's see, let's pull it around about like so. I think that'll work well for us. So I need to now come in and double click to open up this particular board and double click to open up the group. And so using the tape measure tool, I'm going to just pull a line off of here until I get to the midpoint right there. And then we'll zoom in here just a little bit. I'm going to pull this way 2 inches, so I'll type in 2 and hit enter. Just grab this guide, pull it across again 2 inches. And let's see, let's just pull one from this end. That's probably lined up with the edge of that vertical post, so I'll pull in here and I'm just going to type in 8 inches. And then same thing from here, pull in here, type in 8, and we now have our geometry laid out. So let's go ahead and put in an arc, and I'm going to use the 2-point arc, keyboard shortcut letter A, and I'll click here and here, and then pull up. Oh, it's snapping to this midpoint over here. So yeah, that's a good thing, because that'll make it easy to do the other side. So now I'll click here and here, and then carefully pull up until it snaps to this midpoint over here. And with that in place, P for push pull, and I'll push in until it changes color or gets inference, and it cuts it, and then I can just double click on this one, close outside, and mission's accomplished. By the way, I can go ahead and erase these guides, or under view, I can just turn them off for the time being. Of course, that means if I make new guides, I'm not going to be able to see them unless I turn the guides back on.